Hey there, fellow internet scavenger. If you don't know me, my name's Stargazer, Starg for short. And today I will share with you my great adventures to the land of tea. No, not that one. That one. And about how I went to reclaim my land that I never even owned in the first place, pilgrim style. Unless I'm a descendant of some old Viking dude, which would be pretty freaking cool. And because it's dangerous to go all alone to a country where stabbing is as likely to happen as getting shot in America's Chuck E. Cheese, I decided to go with my friend, Ella. Ella! Say hello! I mean, I could make you sit here and watch a Facebook mom montage of the photos we took for 20 minutes. But I decided to make you listen to my 4 pages long monologue instead. Day 1. We spent an agonizing amount of time in the bus, and whenever we stopped at a gas station with overpriced food to take a loo, my body didn't feel any better than as if I would be getting my buttocks out of an Iron Maiden. Day 2. We were woken from our about 45 minutes in total long slumber to be greeted by the only kind worse than the tea and milk mixing, corner of their mouth pronouncing creatures, the French, by whom we got inspected and set free to roam the grounds of England. After taking the tube, we successfully infiltrated the land of canes, top hats, and other stereotypically British elements. Meaning that from this moment on, I will be putting on my false identity to disguise myself. Good afternoon. My name's Stargazer. Firstly, we set foot on Bristol, or as my fellow colonizer likes to call it, Briston, where we firstly met with the unpleasant fact that in most places in Britain they only take card. Anyway, later on we went on to visit the monumental ship SS Great Britain, the museum beside it, and even below deck. With a very real...
Hey there, ladies.
human...
Hey there, my guy.
atmosphere. Not gonna lie, the mannequins were a bit unsettling, but shit, they had their own Victorian Gordon Ramsay down there.
Where's the lamb sauce?
Overall, about 7 biscuits out of 10. After walking around the city for a while and seeing one of Banksy's pieces, we headed to the M Shed Bristol Museum. And I'll have to be honest, seeing so much humanity in one place has really gotten to me. Then we had the chance to walk around Bristol by ourselves and found this giant mirror ball. Now, all there was left to do was to find a shelter amongst the unsuspecting local inhabitants. And let me tell you, we succeeded at that. Our host family was probably a pair of the most judge-free, friendliest people I have ever met. And they had a cat, so...
Stop eating me.
100 out of 10. Day 3. We widened our territory to a very beautiful region of Cotswolds, where I was attempting to take cinematic shots. Later on, tripping and almost falling during one of them. Then we travelled across the sea to the distant and exotic Wales to see St. Fagan's open-air museum. And mate, it was pissing cats and dogs out there. About 6 soggy biscuits out of 10. Lastly, we went to another museum, specifically the National Museum Cardiff, where I got to see ferrets, birds, a lot of birds, and this big fish. 6.5 out of 10. Day 4. We proceeded to travel to Wales, yet again, to see this very luxurious castle that I for some reason have zero recollection of. But looking back at the footage, I have to admit it looks quite nice. And wet. And just as they say that the best way to get to a man's stomach is through his heart, the best way to get into the Buckingham Palace is through its catacombs. So, we decided to dive into the deep soils of England through the Big Pit mines. Here, I only have footage from the surface because if I were to take my magical device with me, I would have a little Hiroshima reenactment in my back pocket. Now there we got to learn not just how the miners were operating back in the day, but also about the enslavement of horses and 5-year-olds being the norm. Forgot to mention the tuberculosis. After that, we went to visit yet again Bristol, I guess to check if the ship was still there. It was. However, instead of the past, this time we visited in another dimension and another world, almost, in Wake the Tiger amusement park. And now, all of you nerds, dungeon masters, geeks, and dreamers, perk your ears up, because this is something for you. Instead of an amusement park, it was actually more like a one big exposition, but with a hidden story to it. I'd say that basically it was one huge metaphor for capitalism and about how it destroys both our souls and our planet. But in a trippy way? And I also finally got to discover my true final form. And also about this mushroom plushie, so 11 out of 10. By this time, I suppose you probably guessed that I'm sick. Yet again. On day 5, we got to see the beautiful architecture of the city bath while taking a little walk. Then we had something around 4 hours of free time, so we decided to meet up with our host couple to help them pick out a dress for a certain event, and I shit you not, you wouldn't believe what happened. They decided to show us the place where they got married after themselves not seeing it for 16 years. The lady who showed us the room also showed us many other rooms around the city hall, like for example this one, that I heard was pretty important. But mainly, we got to literally dance in the room where a part of Bridgerton was filmed. And even though I haven't seen the series, this is something I will flex around for quite a while. 20 out of 10. After that, we went to look at what was left of the ancient Roman baths and to take a sip of the supposedly healing bathwater. No, I'm not gonna make that joke. 8 out of 10 plus points for the audio guide. However, the day was not done until we also took a hold of the legendary La Coque. There we also, as a bonus, got to take advantage of their playground. So 10 out of 10. Day 6. I woke up feeling like as if there was a rusty metal nail stuck into my throat after telling myself the day before how I don't need a scarf, it'll be fine. Luckily, I wasn't alone, and my fellow soldier has been affected as well. And as if that wasn't enough, we also had to say our final goodbyes to our host family, and oh boy. Excuse me? Oh my lad. I was about as close to crying as Donald Trump was to getting shot. On the bright side, however, we got to see the city that until now I was the closest to only in calculus while writing on the fancy stiff pages of a notebook with the glorious name Oxford printed on the back. I do have to admit that even though most of the buildings looked pretty much the same, it was still quite a breathtaking experience. But most importantly, me and my nerdy friends just had to visit the Franz Kafka exposition, where I left a little note behind, so if you happen to find it there sometime later, know the author. And as the sun came down, we situated ourselves at a hotel preparing for our final conquering.
That's issue.
And once again, making fun of the British.
He worked so hard. This is such a big opportunity for me.
Okay.
Balance are deflated. Like why walk you out of my life?
Great.
Yeah.
Day 7. For God, this might have been a day he rested. We, however, were on a mission to take over the heart of England, the one and only city of London. After discovering that there is indeed no guy named Ben, but just the Elizabeth Tower instead, we made our move onto the Buckingham Palace to finish our job there face to face with the crown left over after Princess Diane. But I've been told that King Charles was currently on a temporary leave chasing orphans in Vietnam, so we had no choice but to hop on our metal steed and go home. And even though our journey wasn't successful, it's really about what you gain along the way. Besides the cold. Anyway, if you're still here and you enjoyed me ranting for an unholy amount of time, make sure to subscribe, share, and follow my socials. Also, I have an art account, so... Thank you for watching, goodbye, and dream on. Mwah.